People are asking if the Chiefs can hold on to the AFC, and I don't even know if they can hold on to their own division. We're going to get into it today because training camp has officially kicked off. Tuesday, July 25th is when this is being recorded. So we're going to talk about a little bit of storylines, just where are some of these teams at currently and what should we expect and be looking for as we go into the season. And we got to start off with the Super Bowl reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm sure people are going to be coming for my head right now because they're saying can't hold on to their division. They got Patty. They got him, Mr. Mahomes. Yes, and Patrick is great. I love him very much. I watched the quarterback documentary on Netflix. It's great. I think that he is the best player in the NFL at the quarterback position. But what I did also notice, the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think got better. I don't necessarily think they got worse. They had a couple of pieces that are now gone, but they're always good at drafting. They're always good at maximizing the players that they have on the roster. But the rest of this division got better. And year after year, they're creeping closer and closer. I just think maybe it's not this year, but it's very possible someone else could take over. Granted, Kansas City has Andy Reid, and that's one of the biggest puzzle pieces because when you look back at Tom Brady, he had Bill Belichick, and they ran the table for God knows how many 20 plus years. So that's such an important piece for them. But the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders all got better, which means the Kansas City Chiefs needs to come prepared. They need to come ready to defend this division because it's not going to be a cakewalk by any means. The main couple of stories that I want to look at for the Chiefs, the biggest one right now, what's going on with Chris Jones' contract? He's not at camp. He is arguably the best defensive tackle in the National Football League. Yeah, there are a couple other guys maybe in the atmosphere, but I think he has overtaken Aaron Donald. I get it. Aaron Donald, going to go in the Hall of Fame, one of the best defensive players to ever play football. I just think at this point in his career, going into this season and what Chris Jones did on that Super Bowl run they went on, I think he's the best defensive tackle, interior defensive lineman, whatever you want to say, because I know he kind of moves around a little bit. He is so dominant. They need him so badly, especially because behind him on the Kansas City Chiefs roster, there is no depth. There is no one else who can come in and make the kind of impact that he does, just absolutely wrecking games. So I'm wondering how long this is going to go into training camp before he gets that new deal, or if he gets one at all. The second thing is, we just got some news about Kadarius Toney having to go have surgery to get some cartilage cleaned out or something like that on his foot or his ankle. And that is just one more wide receiver taken away from a group that is so unknown. And yes, you have Travis Kelce, who is wide receiver one in this offense. And as long as you have speed, Patrick can get the ball down the field with the innovative play calling of Andy Reid. Someone has to step up. Someone has to step up. Whether that's Kadarius Toney coming back, which when you look at his history, he doesn't really have a great track record of coming back, staying healthy for a full 17 games. Yes, he was great on the playoff stretch. 3 games. So I just worry about him. Does Sky Moore take that second year jump and become a true weapon for Patrick Mahomes? Training camp videos or practice videos have looked pretty decent from him. I would keep my eye on this rookie, though, Rashid Rice. Guy out of SMU. I think they took him in the 2nd or 3rd round. But I keep seeing all these videos of him and Patrick Mahomes having great chemistry. He's going up, mossing guys, just being a bigger body that they aren't used to maybe having. And I think maybe he could be that person to step up. So they're going to need people in different ways and to be able to play call certain different packages and schemes to utilize these players in their strengths. So we're going to see there, but the team that I think is the most likely to take their throne, Los Angeles, man. I mean, I love everything that they've done. The biggest question marks are going to be, how does Kellen Moore come in and impact this offense? And is it anything like he did in Dallas? Because I think he was trying to incorporate his offense um, in a roster that maybe wasn't built for it. Granted, they still had a lot of success, won a bunch of games, but I think the Chargers playmakers and quarterback have more of that ability to let Kellen Moore just go wild, go crazy, and air the ball out all over the place. The biggest thing about this team, though, is health. It's always been health. Justin Herbert is usually throwing to third, fourth, fifth string wide receivers because Keenan Allen, obviously getting up there in age, Mike Williams has had a very, very extensive history of getting hurt at least 3 to 4 games a season, if not more. They go and draft Quentin Johnson out of TCU. I think that was great for where they got him. And if he can come in and be that number one guy whenever they're out, it's going to be huge and add so much to this offense. They still have Austin Eckler, and a lot of their offense goes through them. But they're not on the best of pages right now. He wants a new contract or to be traded. Do you think maybe he doesn't do as much or go as hard because of this whole relationship and situation that they gave him or that they have him in? I don't know. He's a free agent next year. So if you're going to go for it all, utilize that man. Utilize him. Then you go to the defensive side, and injuries have also just plagued this team, with Joey Bosa getting injured. Even Khalil Mack had some injury problems. Derwin James was out for a little bit. Justin Jackson, the corner that he got from New England, I think missed a good chunk of time. A lot of pieces, or who is it? Murray. Oh man, I'm blanking on his name. The middle linebacker from OU. He hasn't really lived up to expectations. They go draft a few pieces. They brought in a bunch of people. I really hope that adds to their depth, and then maybe they can get some playing time early. That way, once they get to December, January football, they're not just thrown out in the headlights whenever other guys are banged up. But as long as they stay healthy, Brandon Staley doesn't shit the bed, I think this team can really push for that AFC West title. The Broncos. Sean Payton is Sean Payton. He's not some new head coach who hasn't done anything in this league. He was one of the best coaches in both the AFC and the NFC when he was with New Orleans. The storyline, or the thing that I want to watch the most, is how is this relationship between him and Russ going to work? Is he going to be able to revitalize Russell Wilson's career after the goose egg he put up last year, winning 5 games when they were like one of the favorites to get to the Super Bowl? Or is Russell Wilson's ego and kind of vision of himself going to run this team into the ground again? They hopefully get Javonte Williams back. I think Sean will also do a better job of utilizing his receivers. I don't think he's ever had a wide receiving core like this with this kind of potential. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, maybe KJ Hamler makes his way back, Tim Patrick. They go get Marvin Mims from OU. Greg Dulcich from UCLA, I think, had a great rookie season. He's only going to continue to develop. So I think they have a lot of pieces for Sean Payton to get creative and take this team back into the realm of where they're looking to go. Defense, I mean, nothing to say there. Patrick Surtain, dog. Justin Simmons, dog. They have so many playmakers on that side. If they are anywhere close to what they were last season, this team could also make that push to overtake Kansas City. So a lot of potential here, and it's just going to depend on how these different personalities mesh and how these relationships continue to go forward, because Russell Wilson, I think, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way with how things ended up and how things just went south so quickly, and I don't think he did a whole lot to try to pull them out in the ways that maybe he should have. So we're going to see there. But last and not least, maybe the least, the Raiders, which I get. they could be a tankathon kind of team. At least that's what some people are saying. But if they do, bruh, um, what's the head coach's name? McDaniel. He's gone. I really think he's gone. Like, if he comes in and wins another 5-6 games, I think it's just solidified in his legacy that he's a really good OC, and that's it. He's not a head coach, and maybe he goes back with his tail between his legs to New England. Maybe he goes and does something else. Maybe he tries college ball. I don't know, but he needs to do something because this team could be in the mix. I think they could. Defense is pretty bad. But if you saw yesterday, they just went and signed Marcus Peters, which they desperately needed help at the cornerback position. You still have Chandler Jones, who can make an impact. They get Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, who has all the intangibles to be really, really good and just stumble his way into 6-7 sacks, I think. That's how naturally gifted he is. But if he starts to hit his stride on the opposite side of Max Crosby, then they're going to start making some noise because that defensive line is going to be disruptive. Offense, I mean, I like the wide receiver group. I do. They did trade away Darren Waller, but they go get Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, who I think is the Jason Witten of last year's draft and who could easily come in and do the job at an average to above average level. This contract situation with Josh Jacobs does hurt them because he led the league in rushing last year. You can't just replace that willy-nilly. But if there's one thing McDaniels has always done in his time in New England, running back by committee and just making sure that people are always fresh and they pound the ball. But then the offensive line is not looking super great. They definitely made some acquisitions that are going to help, but just not super great. Jimmy G is going to pass his physical, I think they said. Not going to release him, but he's obviously had a really bad injury history. And if he goes down, I think they're in real deep doo-doo because Brian Hoyer is their backup and Aiden O'Connell from Purdue, who's a rookie. You got Devontae. You got Jacoby Myers. You got Hunter Renfrow. Those are enough weapons to at least put this team in contention to win some games. Do they have a long way to go? Of course. Are they going to take over the Chiefs? Probably not. But I just think they're going to be better than people expect them to be if Jimmy G can at least hang in there and play a full season, which I don't think he does too often. But if anyone's going to do it, he has the experience. He has the playbook and the scheme down from his time in New England. And I think that's going to help a lot. So we'll see. AFC West, I'm sure, will be a very, very interesting division. Pretty much all the divisions in the AFC are going to be interesting to watch because there are so many good teams on this side of the league, in this conference. But go check out our other videos that we have coming out, and we will catch y'all in the next one.